Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Dr. Music Podcast once again. A special thank you to my subscribers. If you are not a subscriber, please consider hitting that button so I can continue to bring you great artists like the one I have today, Mr. Marc Storace. Most people will know Marc from his 30 plus years as the vocalist for hard rock band Krokus. Uh, After forming in 75, selling millions of records, gold and platinum status, the band's still alive and doing well today. But at the beginning of 2021, Marc assembled a new band and recorded his first solo album called Live and Let Live under the name Storace. And now Marc and Storace have a brand new record called Crossfire. It's coming out November 22nd on Frontiers Records. It is such an honor, Marc. Thank you so much for being here.
My pleasure. It's
Uh,
great.
it is such a pleasure to have you. Such a fan. As a kid in high school, I remember getting that first Krokus record and just diving right into it, and it was just so great.
Cool.
It was real, and I remember the first thing I heard. Long Stick Goes Boom. Still one of my favorite tracks. Just it is. It's lived with me for a long, long time. The Crocus music and your voice, and I thank you.
It was always our best opener because it was really oof.
Yeah, big energy, big energy.
Monumental. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, you got big energy going still. This new Crossfire record.
Thank you.
In that hard rock style of Crocus, definitely is. There's a lot of foot tapping, head banging stuff here. Um, did this feel like a Crocus album when you're writing or recording it? What's the biggest difference from writing and recording a Crocus album and writing this one?
Well, it's actually the people I wrote with.
Hey,
This time I wasn't there with Von Rohr and Von Arp. It was Tommy Henricksen,
yeah,
and we've known each other since a while now. um, First started when I did backing vocals for this Swiss band called hard rock band called China, and he was producing them, and I was asked to do some backing vocals, and whammo, the magic happened, and the sparks started flying, and relationship with Tommy kept going on until I played with the Storace band a couple of years back in Rock the Ring in Switzerland. And this was right after he had come off stage with Alice Cooper. And we had a great gig, and he caught on to that. And after that, he said, "Hey, Marc, I wanna produce your solo album, your next one." And I
oh,
said, hell yeah. Wow, great. Okay, let's go for it.
man,
And then things started happening, and he started writing stuff and had a couple of ideas already in store. And we met up and chose the first few ideas to work on. And I came back home, started writing and putting vocal melodies, to the stuff. And yeah, and step by step we got there.
man.
Yeah.
You sure did. This is a great record. A lot of material
Thank you.
on it as well. We get a full length 11 track 12 tracks here. Fantastic. And he had to be excited, like I am. Grew up with you. He probably grew up with your music as well.
As well. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Tommy was a Crocus fan from day one.
that's great.
So that helped. It also helped him because he knew the Crocus had the Crocus vibe in his blood, and he knew what fits for my voice, and I was more open to going in this kind of it's not a totally new direction from the first Storace album, but more hard rock, blues influenced hard rock, boogie blues. same as Krokus, and I was more open for that because I had my go at trying other stuff on the first album, Live and Let Live,
Right.
you know, which came out in 2021.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah, and it is. It's a boogie woogie, like I say, a lot of
Yeah.
foot tap and stuff. It's really, really great. But there is one song that sounds a little bit different than the
Uh-huh.
others here. And it actually closes the record. Only Love Can Hurt Like This. Um,
Oh, yeah, that one. Yeah.
it is,
The
quite,
ballad.
yeah, it's a really poignant, sweet ballad. The
Yeah.
placement of the song, the spirit of the song makes me believe that this song has a lot of deep meaning to you. Tell me about that song.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, both Tommy and I went through some relatives of ours, very close, uh, had illnesses that led to their deaths during the time that we were writing, meeting up again, writing, changing notes about how's he doing, not so well, and how's he doing, not so well, and so on. In the end, they both died, and so we were left with this vacuum and this sadness and emotions which needed venting out. So Tommy came up with the idea, and I went fully with it, and
Uh,
I had it done in 2 takes, and it was really emotional. I had goosebumps while I was singing it. So yeah, it's very different than the rest of the album. Very different.
it is, and you say you had goosebumps while you're saying you can almost see those goosebumps when you listen to it. It is clear.
Thank you.
It is very
Thank you.
clear that this is an emotional piece of the record. Uh,
Yeah,
really special song in a very
yeah.
special
For
place.
them, for
Yeah.
them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that is so beautiful. Um, did it have an impact? Did that togetherness for you and Tommy, both suffering through those same things, did that
Yeah.
affect the rest of the record?
Uh, No, because the time span was pretty long, and Tommy was out on tour and coming back to visit his family here in Switzerland, and that's why we could work together actually because he lives here, but he's never here when he's on tour with
Right.
Cooper and then Hollywood Vampires and taking care of business with his Crossbone Scully,
Yep.
which by the way is going to be released on the same day as Crossfire on the 22nd
That
November.
is, yeah,
So we had these gaps, and he had time to get away from it. I had time to get away from it because I was doing this little tour with Krokus, who's still going.
yep.
We came back together last year. But very sporadic and minimal dates, like picking cherries. That's where Crocus is at the moment.
Yeah.
And so yeah, we had, but then, when they were gone, it was like that's when it really hit us. And obviously we didn't want to depress anybody. So the lyrics are not so direct. The lyrics are about actually missing our ladies when we're out away on the other side of the continent or whatever on tour. A few days rehearsals and festival or whatever. Obviously, he has much more of that happening in his life. He's also younger, and I wish him the best. But I had all these emotions earlier when I was out on the road with Crocus, like for months on end, like sometimes up to 9 months in a row.
Yeah.
And it's like you miss home, you miss your bed, your pillow, and
Yep.
maybe your pets, your car.
Yeah. Yep.
neighbors, friends, because you're out there on the bus with these comrades, and there's this kind of great relationship, or sometimes quarrels, and it's how it is. It's the same in a band, like in a family. You
Right.
have your quarrels in the family, but it doesn't mean you hate each other's guts.
Right.
So you're dealing with all this, and you're away from any, you
Yep.
know,
I
uh,
it's amazing how
you need the hugs and
yep, yep.
and
And
all the rest that goes with it.
those are the things, the fans, don't think about very much sometimes. And it can be very, very difficult on the road, that's for sure. Uh,
Oh yeah,
I was just gone for 2 weeks in England, and I just came back, and I'll tell you, I missed my pillow and my dog and my cat. It was all of those things were
yeah,
a
yeah.
great comfort. So you don't have those on the road, and spouses and children and all of that.
No,
Yeah,
you don't. You have other stuff which is gives you pleasure, and you live for the moment when you can step on that stage and you get hit by that adrenaline rush, and it's like a bucking bronco. You have to stay in control, and not forget your lines, not be in the wrong place at the wrong time, all this stuff.
right.
And at the same time communicate with the audience. It's like, wow. And
Yeah.
in the older days we used to have these super troopers in our faces, so you could hardly see the audience, and you try to get away from it so you can have a peek out there, and this thing follows you, the follow spots. So, but anyway, uh, during the guitar solos, I used to go out on the side, take my drink and wipe off the sweat, and enjoy watching the audience for that half a minute or so. So,
Right. Yeah,
uh, yeah.
it's got to be great to still be able to do that. You know,
Oh yeah.
uh, it's it's great to see you out there still
I'm
doing it. Uh, I can tell
I'm
you that.
lucky. I feel lucky.
Yeah,
Thanks for mentioning that. Yeah.
yeah,
It's like somehow I feel blessed that I can still sing the way I do at my age, and that I still have this passion for what I do. Because some people might just, you know, the flame gets lower.
yeah,
But
yeah,
with me, it's like it's all crazy. I even still have a high libido.
yeah. There you go. That's
So which I think that all has to do with the you know being able to cough up the stuff,
yeah, yeah,
the notes and hit the notes, even though then it's not as high. I don't even want to go there. The high places I used to go with my
right.
voice, because it just doesn't suit my image, my age. But it's like a bottle of old red wine you've kept in the cellar like for over 15 years or 20, and you open it up and there's more taste to it, and that's what I'm after now, more taste
Mhm.
in the lyrics and presentation and everything, and on stage okay. I'm still quite lively, thank God. But I'm not that kind of maniac I used to be in the 80s. But still, I get really excited and I enjoy what I'm doing, and that's bottom line.
Yep. And you can feel those things. I mean, I can for sure, and I know most fans can. They can feel when somebody is passionate about things. Especially a singer, because that passion is right there up front. It comes through in the voice. Even if the voice isn't perfect, you
Yeah,
when you display some passion and that feeling in the voice, that's what really matters. That's what hits the
yeah.
audience for
It's
sure.
all about feeling.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
We've perfection to other genres.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. I want raw emotion, and you've always given that. Well,
Thank you.
how do you keep your voice in the shape that it is in? Because it is in tremendous shape. It may not be like what it was in the 20s, but it's close. It is crazy, crazy, crazy great. Do you have a regimen that you keep? Certain diet or, certain things that you drink or anything like that?
Well, I stay off fatty food, you know,
Hmm?
like in Switzerland we eat fondue, which is like a coquillon, a thing full of
Melted
full of full of
cheese
cheese.
or yeah.
And there's white wine in there, and there's kirsch in there, which is
Wow.
like schnapps made from cherries and stuff. I try to avoid a fondue a week before going on stage because then I'm going to be full of cheese and slime and
Right.
and and I don't eat cheese. Maybe I try not to eat cheese 2 days before a gig. You know,
Okay.
I love like pasta, like minimum 3 hours before hitting the stage. And after that, I mean, with the pasta, I drink a normal glass of good red wine. Then I go take a nap. This is also very important, my power nap. And it kind of, wipes out the whole day and I start new. So I freshen up, wake up, have a coffee, get a good glass of white wine to, you know, push me up. I learned this from opera singers. That's what they do,
Wow.
white wine. Because coffee, too much coffee can dry up your vocal cords.
Hmm.
And together with that, maybe a second coffee, and together with that, a little grappa, which is another kind of schnapps, and it's made out of uh, what's left over after they press the grapes for the wine. They take what's left over and they ferment it, and out of this little tap comes this grappa.
Wow.
And
Sounds
if
great.
it's like 10 years or 15 years old, then it tastes, whoa, really
Wow.
good.
Wow.
And yeah, maybe one of those and a glass of white, which I take on stage with me, plus the whole passion for the music, naturally.
Of course.
If you don't have that, you can have anything and
Yep.
the sparks won't fly, you know
Yep.
what I mean?
Yep. Man,
So
and you,
that's well, that's kind of my ritual. And as
yeah.
far as physical, um, I try not to put on too much weight, and I take long walks with my wife through the woods, and we have lots of stairs at home,
Yep.
which is great.
That's a good thing.
No lift, no elevator. I take
Right.
I take the stairs sometimes in a hotel as well
Yeah.
because that's really good for the heart, and
Yeah.
I need to pump a lot to hit those notes, and so yeah, basically that's it.
That's great. You're very conscious of your health and the well-being of the vocal cords, and
Yeah,
it shows. It really shows.
thanks.
It
Yeah,
sounds really great.
I've
Uh,
been lucky.
First song I heard, and I told you this, Long Stick Goes Boom.
Yeah,
It's still one of my favorites today. I love, love, love that song, especially. But when I was hearing it, I remember back then, it reminded me, I thought maybe it was a new AC/DC track. It had a very AC/DC feel. It had that
yeah,
power and
yeah,
that rhythm. Um, you have a new song on the record called Love Thing Stealer. Um, Very much in that spirit of things, that foot tapping,
yeah,
rhythmic AC/DC kind of thing. Um, you've done that over the years. There's always those tracks. Are you ever cautious about getting, and everybody knows the story of, the audition, the AC/DC audition for you that you didn't take, and
yeah, yeah,
that's
yeah,
always a story that we hear.
yeah.
Um, Are you ever cautious when you do something like Love Thing Stealer, uh, n- of getting too close to the AC/DC sound? When you were doing that, was there any talk of, or in homage to that, getting closer to that sound? Was that ever a discussion on doing a track like Love Thing Stealer, the AC/DC thing?
Yeah, I think the second word you used, homage,
Hmm.
is more the right thing because you know I I really respect what Bon Scott achieved in his short uh, s- time, and it's like after he left us, I listened even closer. I got into the lyrics, and he was really phenomenal. I'm not saying Brian Johnson is second best. He's on the same level in a different way. I
Right.
love Brian Johnson. He's
Yep.
such a funny guy, down to earth, rock and roller. He's way up there amongst the biggest stars. It's all great. So yeah, I mean, I avoided, like I said before, for the first Storace album, Live and Let Live, I totally avoided going there. I didn't want to go there.
Mhm.
But for the second one, and Tommy's into AC/DC too, and Krokus, and the whole of Krokus are AC/DC fans. I
Right.
mean, let's be honest. So, um, and before, I used to maybe wanted to give a try and sound a little bit more like Led Zeppelin because Robert Plant was my first big idol before I knew Bon Scott existed.
Right.
We're going way back to Ian Gillan and Roger Daltrey with The Who, and
Mhm.
these were my big influences, really. So if I come close uh, to paying a homage, it's like,
Uh,
without consciously wanting to go there. It's just I like to have fun, and if the music takes me that way, then what the heck, and
yeah.
I'm sure the fans, it pleases the fans because they've always commented positively about Krokus songs in the past that
Mhm.
sounded close to AC/DC.
Right.
And I've always been compared to Bon Scott, whether I like it or not. And I've had to live with that, which is a big compliment. But at the same time, one wants to stand on his own. It's like to be, it's like for people to say, I am my own singer. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because
Sure.
if you listen to where my voice was at before I joined Krokus, like with
Yeah.
Easy Money in London, and before Krokus, I was with another Swiss band called T.
Hey.
We
Yeah.
played progressive hard rock.
Yeah.
If you listen to songs like we covered Summer in the City,
Hmm.
and it's all orchestrated and really, let me say this in double Dutch, it kicks ass.
Yeah.
you know
Absolutely.
um, and there's other songs, like Lady and so on, where I'm using this gritty voice, Lady, going
Yeah.
up and
Yeah.
switching the turbo on. It's like a
Yeah.
switch. um, so I was already there before, uh,
Right.
so maybe I was copied by some people too, and
Yes.
we don't
Absolutely.
know it.
Oh, absolutely.
You know what I
Uh,
mean?
for sure. For sure.
And I'm old enough, been around.
Yeah. Yep. And yeah, you mentioned T. You did it. What, 5 albums with T, right? Something like that. Yeah.
But three studio albums, then best of, and a couple
Yeah.
of singles which were not released on the albums,
Yeah.
which came out on the best of albums. And yeah, we had a great run. And for me, a little boy coming from sunny island in the Mediterranean called Malta,
Yes.
with no future as a professional rock singer at all. I would have had to work in a hotel or nightclubs to earn my pay. But so I took a plane to London, and because Malta was in the Commonwealth, so we
Right.
all talked English. Thank God. We
Right.
listened to BBC. We had the same charts as people in London. We were up
Right.
to date. My band was playing hard rock, Cinnamon Hades. Hades.
Yeah.
Already dealing with the word hell,
Yes.
back in those days. So yeah, it was it's a long story. It's been a long journey, and
Yeah.
uh, somehow destiny took me to Switzerland,
Yeah.
and always had lady luck on my side, and especially ladies, who brought me luck,
Yes.
because it was a Swiss, a nice, beautiful Swiss uh, girl who introduced me to the Swiss scene, and I just loved the country. I loved the respect I felt, from the musicians I met here, and that's how it started. So T was the first ever real professional band I joined them. We recorded our own demos because the guitar player wanted to be a producer, which he did later on.
Mm.
And we wrote our own songs, went on tours, and
Yeah.
had a
Great.
record deal. And we toured all the way up to Hamburg and all the way up to Scotland and Wales, with London, Marquee Club, the whole razzmatazz.
Yeah.
So that's when I felt like I was really touching with my little finger. I was touching the goal I wanted to reach. So
Yeah.
thank
Yep.
you.
Yep. It's just so great. And that was a rabbit hole that I went down. I got the tea stuff and it was like, wow, there's so much to enjoy there. So I,
Yeah,
I would I would suggest to anybody that loves your music and your voice and
it's
uh
a deep rabbit hole.
it,
Yeah,
it is. It is. There was so much to find. I was like,
yeah,
wow, there's so much
yeah.
here. Really great career and story that you have. Have you ever thought about writing it down, and doing like a book, an autobiography?
I mean, it takes enough energy for me writing lyrics for songs and finding melodies, doing the whole thing, studio rehearsals with the band, so I don't really have time for writing a book. But if it's a written interview, I really get into it, and I have to control myself not to write too much and to
Yeah,
get on with it because I have the next thing waiting for me to accomplish and on the desk. I mean, um, but writing a book, but doing a film like a documentary is what's been in the works for the past 6 years, I guess. I
that would be
talked
great.
with my partner, Sepp Sutter. Um, he's in the he was in the film business and now does it as a hobby. And so he contacted me and said we talked about a bio, and he said there's some things he wanted to correct in my published history,
Right.
published by other people, which he wants to do that with a documentary, maybe for Netflix, but that was six
Yeah.
years ago. So things move on, and so after the release and the last gigs, we're gonna find time, sit together, and look over some footage, which is like miles, miles and miles of footage, which he had, and pick out the best so it doesn't become boring. It's like, it
That has to
has
be
to
great.
be exciting, otherwise we don't want to bore the fans.
I'm sure there's plenty of exciting clips over the years, that's for sure. You mentioned film, and I had the great, legendary, lovely Doro Pesch on a couple of times, and when I was doing some research on her career, I noticed a film called Anouk,
Yeah,
which you were involved with as well. You've been
yeah,
involved with something called Handyman as well. So there's
yeah.
a little bit of film that you've done, musically and otherwise. Have you thought about writing for more film? Is that something you'd like to do?
Oh, not really.
Oh, yeah,
It's really so time consuming, so time consuming, and um, I mean, Handyman, the music to Handyman, I had Hellraiser from the album Hellraiser, Krokus's
right.
Hellraiser album,
Yeah,
on Handyman, on the CD that accompanied the film, film music.
right.
There's all these different songs, and that CD went platinum in Switzerland, so
Yeah,
it was like great, it's not just me uh, acting on the film with the Hellraiser band, but also, achieving something in the Swiss charts,
yeah, yeah,
musically.
yeah.
And with Doro, there was this song On and On, yeah, and on the film Anouk, and
Yeah.
this was it was a part of the film soundtrack as well. But Anouk was a little bit more cult, so it wasn't like a kind of film that would chart.
Right,
Handyman was more commercial. It was funny. It was a comedy,
right.
and yeah, we had a great time filming that.
Yeah.
And Anouk as well. We were up on the mountain freezing though.
And it's
And
beautiful. I mean, I've
uh,
seen clips of it. It's just wow,
yeah,
beautiful. Pretty
Doro
cold
Doro
though.
has a big part on that
Yeah,
film.
yeah,
She did it great. I
yeah.
love her acting there.
Yeah, we can't get it in the States. And it's very, very hard to find as an import or anything. So, I've been looking for that film for quite some time.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a little bit difficult, but someday I'll put my hands on it and get my
I've
eyes.
got to talk to Luke
Big
Gusser.
Gasser. Yeah.
He's a good filmmaker. He's done a few good ones, and he's also a singer, musician, writes songs and records CDs.
Yeah, yeah,
It's like there's this harmony. We're in the same world.
yeah, yeah.
But I didn't know you couldn't get it in the States. You
Yeah.
can't buy it there. Can't even buy it there. Oh,
No, it's a hard one to get a hold
okay.
of. Yeah. So
Anyway, you can buy Crossfire soon.
yes, absolutely. 22nd November for sure. You did in 91 you did something called Blue.
Oh
Very,
yeah.
very, very I love the record.
Thank you.
Totally different record for you.
I love it. I
It
love it.
it's great to hear because it's a light radio pop record, if I dare say so.
It's pop
Um,
rock. There's some more poppy tunes and some more rocky ones, like Hold
yeah,
On.
yeah, yeah. I mean, it's
Got me up on me like a motion. Gah, 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 gah.
it, it's it's
That's
it is
yeah,
it's cool. It's a really cool record, and it's pretty different. Is
yeah,
there a
very.
style that you'd like to revisit at some point? Do something else like that?
Well, actually, for me, the chapter Blue is still unfinished because um, it was released on the worst record company you could ever think of, which went bankrupt after a month. It was a new thing, and it was mishandled and got lost.
Yeah.
And I was having dinner at this place with the Scorpions, and they let the Blue record uh, play,
Play.
and they listened to it, and they were like, "Wow, this is totally different than what we know you for," you know.
Right.
And yeah, it's commercial, and I thought I'd have a go after 8 years with Krokus, and you
Yeah.
know, I thought I deserved a break, so and I was free to take it, and I took it.
Yeah. And I
And
love.
I wrote those songs with Vic Vershaw, who
Mhm.
died about 6 months ago
Oh,
only, and we had this memorial thing, and I sang a couple of those songs again with this band and the old bass player of our band, and now I'm seeing that my daughter Juliana is interested in covering a couple of the blues songs, which I'm really happy about, and obviously she will rearrange them according to her own feelings, you know.
yeah.
And, but it's great. It would be a pity if it went totally lost, you know.
Yeah, yeah, because it is
Yeah,
a great record. It is another rabbit hole. It was
so
pretty
many.
great. It was great.
Yeah,
You
because
mentioned,
you know I'm like a guy who can't just sit at home on the sofa every night
yep,
and let the world go by. I have to be out there doing something, you know.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
why there's the Amen project as well with Manfred Ellert and Glenn Hughes, you
Oh,
know.
I love Glenn. I love Glenn. He's
Yeah,
so great.
yeah,
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 there's so many things, and it's such a delight. You mentioned Juliana, and you have another. You have a son, Luca. Are
yeah.
they musical kids? Are yeah, well, Juliana, obviously. Do they want to do that as a career?
Well, Juliana said she's going to give it the last try, you
Okay.
know. Um, was she started out with me during lockdown before I decided to do my first solo album. We were doing, she called them Fun Day Sundays, you know, and these were duets with my young daughter Juliana, and we did them here in this room with a handy, you know, with
Yeah, phone.
a phone,
Yeah.
and put them out on YouTube and Facebook, you know, and the reactions were really great, you know, so
Yeah.
so sweet, and oh, she's lovely, and that makes a father feel great, you know.
Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
and so yeah, and you know, this way we did some TV streaming as well
Hmm.
during the lockdown period. So she learned to go on stage with me, and then her reaction. We played in Z7, which is Z7. A lot of American bands played there. I
Okay.
I, I saw Dio there, Glenn Hughes, and you know, loads of others.
Right.
And recently, Billy Talent, they
Okay.
played
Yeah.
there. And so we got on that stage in Prattle, Z7 Prattle,
Mhm.
for the streaming thing. And she said, Dad, I feel so awkward. There's nothing but darkness out there. No, no people, you know.
Right.
I said, no, you're wrong, Juliana. I was to motivate her. I said, you see those camera shining lenses, there's those three cameras there? I said, there's thousands of people behind them.
Yes.
And
Yes.
they're gonna be sitting at home on the sofa with a beer in their hand and maybe a pizza in the other one,
Right.
and checking out how you sing, how we do this. And
Hmm.
we did that with Claudio Matteo. He's a guitar player of China, very good friends.
Yeah.
Juliana loves him. And you know, so it went really well. And then we were asked to do other things, you know. I see your cat's tail. She's
Yes.
black.
Yeah.
Cool. Love cats. Yeah, love cats.
Me too. Me too.
Ours died about a year ago now.
Uh,
She
it,
was 20 years old.
yeah, this guy here is about 17. Yeah, I'm
Amazing.
so thankful to have them around for that long, but it is sure is hard after that many years.
It was hard. It was.
Yeah.
We have a nice little painting like this,
Oh,
her
nice.
done by this American guy who lives in somewhere in Indonesia, you
Ah,
know, and
that's awesome.
it's awesome. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's
Her
great.
name was Whiskey.
Ah, that's nice.
Because of the color of her coat, it's like the brown, black,
Yeah,
beige. Yeah.
I got a goblin.
So,
So,
where was I? I get sidetracked. But
Juliana, yeah, she's giving it one more shot, and
yes, she's. Then we let it lie. So I said, okay, Juliana, you're getting too much exposure, and you don't have an album that's coming out. It's a waste.
yeah,
So let's retreat now. You lie low, just do what you always did, and I'm gonna do an album, solo album. Uh, you know, and that's what she's been doing. And now recently, she's had an offer to headline this big thing that's happening outside Zurich. So she said, "Damn, what am I gonna do? I don't have a band. And I said, it's okay. You'll do it with the Storace band, and you get your 30 minutes,
yeah.
and we'll do a couple of duets, and so that's what we have in mind, and
Ah, that's
we'll
fantastic.
get that together in my free time, and in
That's
a
exciting.
couple of days' time, I'm taking her to the place where I buy my in-ears. So
Okay,
she's gonna get a pair of in-ears for Christmas.
nice, nice. That is so great to see her involved, and with you, and
Yeah.
that's just great. I have a daughter of my own, so I know what that's like to for the daughter to still want to hang with dad, which my daughter does, and I'm so thankful.
I'm so thankful too.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
even my son, Luca.
Hmm.
In fact, last well, I do this Christmas show, it's a before Christmas show, a few days before, in this legendary club in Bern called Mühle Hunziken. And my daughter sang a duet with me, and my son played drums on bedside radio, Krokus's bedside radio,
That's
which we
awesome.
played as an encore. Because yeah, he loves playing drums, but he's up to his ears in work right now. He's in the IT business,
Okay.
and
Yeah,
he strives to, get more diplomas and so on, which is great,
it is great. It is
because music business alone, especially today, is not so reliable.
no.
You know,
It can be a rough road. Yes.
exactly.
But I know so many people that they are musicians. They're very good musicians, but they play with friends at a bar
Yeah,
on the weekend, and that is what makes them happy. So it's a different thing for each person. They go to
that's
their
it.
9 to 5 during the week. They play on the weekends, and they're happy people. And that's
Exactly.
great. It's great to see. Uh,
That's it. That's it.
for sure. You got Krokus on the Monsters of Rock cruise. You're doing a few shows, like you say, it's a little sporadic with Krokus, but it's still happening. Uh,
Yeah.
the Storace band. Will you take the Storace band on a small tour, perhaps?
Well, I'm hoping now that after Crossfire comes out on the 22nd November,
Hmm.
that doors are gonna open and phones are gonna ring, or
Yeah.
other emails come in to our booker. Storace is booked by Good News in Switzerland, which is like Good News Productions, huge uh, company, and it's international. They have sister companies all over the place. So let's hope that the promoters will interest themselves to book the band, and we're ready to come and open for bigger acts, which is probably the best way to start something new, because I don't regard myself as something which has been going for ages, because it isn't, it hasn't.
Right.
So but that's fine. It's okay for me, as long as expenses are paid. It's a big long flight to the USA, and
Sure is.
already when you think about renting a nightliner,
Yeah.
there's
Yeah.
all your budget's gone. So
Yep.
that's that's reality of economy.
Yep.
Economical thinking. Whoa.
And
So
that's
uh,
complicated. All those logistics of touring.
it's
Uh,
it's
it
it's
is
not easy.
it is not easy, especially
And
when
then
you need pieces.
organizing a tour where all the dates are close to each other, you
Right.
know,
Yeah.
would, otherwise you're traveling too many hours to get to
Yeah.
one gig, and I'm no spring chicken anymore.
Yeah, 10 hours on a bus doesn't sound great, does it? Uh, you've done so much, Mark. We're so thankful for all the things you've put into the world. Is there something you've always wanted to do that you haven't yet? Kind of a bucket list item, musically or otherwise?
Yeah. Uh, First of all, I'd like to crack this nut, and get the band over to the USA, and maybe Asia, and all over Europe. So that's quite a big wish, I think.
Yes.
And then if things happen on the sideline, like I love it when we have guest musicians. Tommy Henricksen's been with us a couple of times, and it's even other musicians, even Swiss musicians. Um, I like to keep that ball rolling, and
Yeah.
hopefully with you know, uh, who knows? Who knows? The future is wide open.
Yeah. It's
As
great.
long as long as I have life, I have hope, and if I have the strength to carry on, I'm just never gonna stop. And
Man, that
that's
is.
these are my basic wishes, today. My children grew up; they can take care of themselves.
Yeah.
You know, my missus takes care of me, and
Mhm. It's
and,
that's
I'd like to travel more, with her, and
yeah. Yeah.
because once the kids, leave the nest, yeah, and another life starts,
Yes.
doors open.
Yep, mine just have actually, so I know exactly what you're saying. Uh, you know, I can go and not, have to worry about too much. They have their own lives, which is really a
Exactly.
strange feeling now. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, but it is great, because I hear the tale of so many musicians, especially touring musicians like yourself, who have worked and toured
Oh
so
yeah.
for so long. Their families crumble underneath that,
Oh
or
yeah.
there's a lot of tragedy there, or they're
Oh
not
yeah.
happy.
Oh yeah.
You have so many wonderful things.
One has to feel lucky that everything stays intact,
Yeah,
and even your own self, because
yeah,
there's so much temptation out there.
yep,
And so yeah, one
yeah,
has to thank his lucky stars, and keep on moving, and
yeah,
yeah.
yep. And when that happiness is there and that stability, you get records like Crossfire. Uh, great records, emotional records, well done, well produced, well written. Uh,
Well mixed as well by
yes,
yeah,
Ali
Oliver
Romo.
Hello, Romo.
Yeah,
He's like,
Mutt
uh,
Lange's personal engineer.
yeah,
He is,
yeah,
and
yeah.
it shows. This is just a
Great,
great
great.
sounding record.
He did some great work on that,
Yeah,
and obviously Tommy was a big inspiration as a producer and songwriter, motivator, and it was great. I'm glad he made time, you
yeah,
know.
yeah. Me too, and everybody else will be too. November 22nd, it comes out on Frontiers Records. There's so much to love about this record. So much to love about Marc Storace. We love you out here. We're
Thank you.
so thankful for you. And please,
Thanks.
yeah, keep going until you can't
Yeah,
go
I'm,
anymore.
I'm looking forward to meeting the band again, the Storace band, and do some rehearsals. We got a couple of gigs coming up before Christmas,
Yeah,
and they're gonna be club gigs to kind of properly initiate our new guitar player.
great.
You know,
Yeah,
Serge Kristen, um, and we had one big concert with him, and you can see him on the video of "We All Need the Money"
yeah,
uh,
great.
together with Tommy,
Yeah,
and because we filmed in two different places in Switzerland, and so I'm looking forward to our rehearsals and hanging out with the guys again and the girl.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's
Yeah,
great.
Emmy is a great bass player. I've known her like since we worked together over a decade ago in this production called Rock Circus.
Mhm.
This was like a traveling circus tent
Wow.
with rock music, and also This Is Rock, which is what was the same thing in the same traveling tent creation by my manager and ex T drummer Rolly Egley,
Yeah.
and she's been there on both, so it's like we kind of work together the most so far. And Patrick, the drummer, Patrick Abbey and Don Fave, they've both been in Krokus in the Rock the Block era.
Okay. Yeah.
It was followed by the double live album Fire and Gasoline.
Mhm.
And Dominic went on to stayed on for the Crocus Hellraiser album and the US tour, which we did back then
Yeah. Yeah.
before we recorded the album. So there's a lot of stuff in the band that that keeps us, it gels us, it's like together, it's like camaraderie,
Yep. Yep.
and
And it's like a different family for you.
it is it's
Yeah.
another family next to Crocus and next to my own family.
Yeah. Yeah. That's I think that's important.
Yeah,
That chemistry is makes things easier though, that's for sure. You know.
definitely. And even people around the band, but around the Storace band, I've known Rolly, who's managed me now for the past 20 years or so. He was the uh, drummer of T, and we've been all over the place together.
Yeah.
And Stefan Mate, the booker with the
Okay.
Good News Productions.
Yeah.
I've known him since ages.
Yeah.
So it's great, and some of the crew work with Crocus as well. So I saw there's a bit
Wow.
of sharing, and yeah.
Yeah. And people you can trust to get the job done and trust
Oh,
their
definitely.
feelings and
Yeah.
yeah, that's so important. So important. Yeah. I'm so happy for you, Mark. You seem so happy at this stage in your career. And it's all clicking and it's just a great thing to have
Thanks.
new material out there from you. I'm just so honored to have you here today. I appreciate you greatly.
Thank you.
Crossfire. November 22nd, Frontiers Records. Please, everybody, check this out. It's an amazing record. I hope we can do this again, Mark. That would be so great.
Definitely, Scott. Really,
Yeah,
I enjoyed this because it wasn't like you with the out of the ordinary questions and
yeah,
taking a bit of sidetracking and everything. I hope
yeah,
you can snip it all to,
yeah, yeah,
to
yeah.
suit
Well,
your.
everybody wants to hear everything you have to say. I believe that as a fan, I am one of those guys. I want to hear, even the demo tapes that are, from the garage and, all the in-between banter between, uh, you know,
Oh,
every word, that you say is,
thanks.
we love you out here. We do. And, you're a big
You
part
know,
of
you
so many
you
lives.
mentioned demo tapes. The demo
Yeah.
tape I'm missing. I would sorely love to hear again. Is the demos for the Change of Address album.
Oh,
The
man.
album that was in double Dutch, screwed up in in the production time because that's those songs sound raw and
Mhm.
so different. But I don't have a copy, and I would like to hear that again. So I'm
Yeah.
going to be knocking on some doors.
Yeah, yeah. See, and I'm a rabbit hole guy. I love to, whenever I get my hands on a, something I like, I just go all in. So I'd give anything to hear those demos from that time. Wow, they got to be incredible.
It's
Yeah.
great to have time. It's great to have the time to do it.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah, we look forward to anything you have, Mark. Really, such an honor. Thank you for everything you do.
Thank you, Scott.
Yeah, yeah. We'll do this again for sure.
All the best.
All right, you too. I
I,
appreciate you.
and I won't see you probably before, so Merry Christmas.
Yes, yes, you too, you too. But I'll see you after, sometime after that for sure.
Okay. Oh, I see a dog there now.
Yeah, yeah. I got a golden retriever as well.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah, it's animal kingdom over here. I love my animals. Yeah,
Great,
for sure,
great.
for sure. Yeah, you got to surround yourself with love and family.
With good
Uh,
vibes. Yeah,
and that's what it's all about. So, yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
Right.
Mark, thank you so much. We'll do this again after sometime next year, maybe.
Okie doke.
All right.
Take care.
All
Take
right.
care.
You too. Be well.
You
Bye-bye.
too.